Tell me a little bit about Vizu's brand lift measurement system and how that is different from the click-through advertising measurement system that people have become kind of reliant on.
Great, fantastic. So Vizu's brand lift measurement system is called Ad Catalyst, and we measure online brand advertising as opposed to performance advertising or the search-based advertising, which gets a lot of media these days. So we measure the video advertising and display advertising and how that influences people's opinion about brands, and we do that for many of the biggest brands in the world. The measure we use is brand lift, so it's the percentage increase in the primary objective of the campaign. So how effectively is that advertising influencing people's opinions?
A lot of people have this mentality that, you know, click-through is very easy to measure, and so they rely on that a lot. How is it more difficult to measure the influence of the brand, and how is that different?
Yeah, it is definitely more difficult to influence how an ad is influencing people's opinions. And traditionally, that's what most of advertising has done in all of history. There's very few places where people could actually interact with the ad. And I think because people could interact with the ad early on in the internet, everybody got fixated on clicks. But when you're trying to buy Budweiser or McDonald's or whatever, you're not going to buy a beer online, you're not going to buy a hamburger online. That ad has to influence you in a way that when you leave your computer and go on in your daily life, you're thinking that I want to buy a Big Mac or a Whopper or Budweiser or Coors. So you really have to get inside people's head and ask them, how is exposure to these ads affecting you? And that's the big thing, and that's what's going to allow real dollars to come online, real brand dollars. Right now, you know, everybody quotes those numbers of 20% of people's media consumption is online and 7 or 8% of the ad dollars. But of that 7 or 8%, it's just a tiny amount of brand advertising. And the reason for that is there hasn't heretofore been the measurability or accountability. So with accountability on the internet for brand advertising comes more dollars, comes more growth, and it's a big opportunity.
How do you guys, you know,
what's the secret sauce? How does it work? Yeah, it's a good point. I sort of alluded to the fact that you actually need to reach out and engage with people. So the click-through stuff, it's all passive. It's, you know, people click or not, and machines counting it. The way that we work is, say that there's a brand campaign, there are 10 different ad units running on 10 different sites. We have a little bit of code that gets trafficked with each of those ads, and it cookies the people who see the ads. So what we do is we count which ads they see, how many times they've seen them, and on which sites they see them. And then for a tiny subset of the people who see the ads, maybe less than 1%, we will ask them a question. A little flyover will appear on the screen or embedded in the page, and it will say something like, how likely are you to buy a Lexus in the next 6 months? And then we compare how people who answer that question and have seen the ads compared to people who answer that question and have not seen the ads. And then you get that lift, and you can see, oh, the ads are influencing people's perception this much because you have two identical groups of people, one that's been exposed to the ads and one that's not. And then we allow people and our clients who have that data to drill in and see, oh, overall the campaign generated 6% lift, but it's these particular ad units, maybe video or some sort of targeting, that's driving the lift. These particular sites, or what's the right frequency of exposure. So sometimes you need to show something to people 2 or 3 times, and sometimes you need to show it to them 10 times before it clicks. So that's before it clicks in one way or another. Comes down to reaching out, asking, getting that information, building a brand lift profile of those people.